Good evening, everyone. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're watching NewsX's special series, Second Wave Superheroes, where we recognize individuals and organizations for their selfless service during devastating second wave of the pandemic. Our first guest today is comedian Amit Tandon on the show, followed by Captain Dharamveer, and last but not the least, Jasreen Debu and Hiral Chandra Maru.
As pandemic continues to batter our lives, leaving us with collective grief and anxiety, comedian Amit Tandon started free online sessions for COVID-positive patients to lift their spirits. Amit Tandon, with his initiative Talk Positive series, reached out to thousands of patients and made them feel better. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero, comedian Amit Tandon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on a brand new interview as part of our Second Wave Superheroes series on NewsX. Joining us today is well-known comedian Amit Tandon. Amit, welcome to NewsX. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Uday. My pleasure.
Now, Amit, of course, did a series of free comedy shows for COVID-19 patients who were in home quarantine to brighten up their spirits. So, firstly, congrats on the idea, on, of course, carrying this out, the service really, Amit, in this very tough time. Tell us about how this idea started. It was called Talk Positive. How did the idea come about?
So, when the second lockdown started, it was fairly depressing for me also because, we were locked up again. And we never expected that it will hit us so hard,
Yeah.
We were thinking that, last year when it started, we were like, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, that's all that it will be. So second time it was very, very depressing. So, I was feeling very frustrated. And then I thought that if I, who is not COVID positive, still has a home to move around or can go downstairs for a walk in his society, how tough it would be mentally for people who are locked up in one room or quarantined in one room, for 15, 20 days. It must be really tough. So that's how I got the idea. I said, okay, let's talk to people who are corona positive, tell them that there are people who want to talk to them. So it was not really a comedy show that I would do. I would get 25, 30 of them in one Zoom call, which would be around 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And I would just talk to everybody, encourage them to tell them about themselves.
Yeah.
And then we would joke about each other, so sometimes people will talk more than I talk because, they were sitting alone. One, in these times to see 25 faces without masks was a big deal for everyone.
Yeah.
And they were full of things to talk about, they wanted somebody to listen to them. So that's what the sessions were about, and it was an interesting experience. We
Great.
ended up doing around 20 shows. So
wow. So this would have, I mean, and would the same people be joining multiple times sometimes, or would you try and keep different sets?
no, it was different set of people every time. So because I expected that there will be 50, 60 people who will probably send us a message or whatever.
Yeah.
But within the first 2 days, we had like 2,000 people,
Wow.
messaging us, sending us emails.
Yeah.
So we had to actually go back and create, forms that people could fill online.
Yeah.
So that we could start sending them, specific slots and everything. So that was the process.
Fantastic. And and did you expect this kind of response? When you first set out the idea that you would be doing so many shows in this period.
Absolutely not. I was thinking maybe 3, 4 shows, 5 shows would happen, not more than that. But 20 was beyond my expectation. And I was thinking maybe 14, 15 people every time we would get, but we had to put in like 30, 35 people, 40 people per show.
Yeah. What were the kind of questions which would come your way? Like you said, it was more of a conversation than like a virtual stand-up show. So what kind of questions would people ask? Would people ask you to, tell them a joke to make them smile? Would they ask you some of their fears as well? What were the kind of conversation like?
It was a mixed bag. So sometimes there were people who wanted to know how I write comedy, what happens in my family, what I am doing. But then a lot of times I would be asking them questions. Ki COVID kaise hua? Kahan hua? Where are you sitting? And we had people from all parts of the world. So we had people joining in from US, we had people joining in from Maldives, Singapore, Dubai, and all these places. But most of the time, it was just they were happy that there was somebody who was listening to them.
Yeah.
That was just what they wanted to. We would just discuss. They would, more than asking me questions, they wanted to share their own problems. Okay, I have been sitting home for the last 6 months. I don't know how I got corona. So they were frustrated. Some people wanted to have a good time. Who had corona but really didn't had any symptoms or anything.
Yeah.
So they wanted to joke around.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would make fun of each other, or have fun with each other. So that's what it became.
Okay, well, that's great that you were doing this, and you were doing it, of course, free in this very tough time. But and do you believe, Amit, that this was your way of helping people's mental health? Because we often spoke about physical health during the pandemic, how to boost one's immunity, of course, medicines to get one better, but not many conversations were had on mental health, which has really suffered a lot in this pandemic, hasn't it, and the lockdown.
Absolutely, I think with the kind of messages I was getting, I felt that yes, it made some difference to people, because even at my home, I could see the frustration growing, because I have two teenage kids who missed their entire 11th and 12th standard. Okay, they're sitting at home, they've not met their friends for over a year and a half, and mental health is taking a major toll. So what happens in every emergency situation, uh, there is the materialistic help which is important, whether it is money or it is medicines and all of that. But in addition to that, one very important component is hope, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Because if people stop seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, they'll stop working, they'll stop fighting,
Yeah.
so to say. Okay, same is the case here also in COVID, where people stop seeing that
Yeah.
there is some end to it. Because
Yeah. You have to give them hope. Yeah.
there are a lot of conversations which are like, Arey, is this how the world is going to be from now onwards?
Yeah.
Are we always going to wear masks? Are we going to spend so much time at home?
Yeah.
So there it becomes very important to instill that positivity, that hope in people. uh, make sure that they laugh for some time, they forget about the stress that they have all around you. And that's what, being a comedian, that's what I am limited to, that's what I can.
Are you doing that at home also these days? Trying to bring a smile on people, cracking a joke. Do your relatives and friends call you up ki yaar hasa do hame, Amit?
No, it's not on demand service, but yeah, within my home, like with my kids and my wife. So the four of us, fortunately there are four of us who are together, because in some places I've seen people are stuck alone also. Somehow we keep on taking the baton from each other. When one is down, the other, somebody else would pick
Yeah.
it up and say that, okay,
Yeah.
it's bad day, let's plan next vacation, let's do this, let's
Yeah.
play a game. So that support system has grown within the
Okay.
home.
Okay. Well, we certainly congratulate you for your efforts, Amit, and wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Uday. Thank you.
When the nation witnessed an unprecedented spike in COVID cases, Captain Dharamveer formed a team of volunteers to not just move but create resources. When blood banks ran out of stock and plasma was in COVID care protocol, he got over 200 donors registered with them. He also formed a team of doctors, including physiotherapists, nutritionists, and mental health advisors, to refute misinformation and misconceptions. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero Captain Dharamveer.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX's Second Wave Superheroes. I am Ujasvi Chauhan, and today I'm joined with Captain Dharamveer, who's been, helping people during the second wave of coronavirus, and he continues to do so. Welcome to the show, Captain.
Thank you, Jasvi.
So I would like to begin with, asking you that how exactly were you able to help people during the second wave specifically?
So we created a team of volunteers, because there was a scarcity of resources, and the social media was buzzing with a lot of tagging and all of that. we realized that if we move resources from one place to another using our influence on social media, that will not actually create new resources, but that might create panic. And people who are on social media, they are probably not the one who need the resources on ground. So we decided to do something wherein we can create resources. And Plasma at that point of time was on COVID care protocol. So we made a team of 20 people across the country. They were all volunteers. And we started reaching out to people who had recovered from COVID. And we had about 200 registrations of plasma donation. So people came forward, they gave plasma till the time it was there on COVID care protocol. And once that finished, again on social media, I reached out to doctors, and we made a team of 12 doctors, physiotherapists, nutritionists, mental health advisors. And we started doing sessions on all the things that people are panicking around. So whether it is mental health, whether it is nutrition, whether it is mucormycosis, black fungus, plasma donation, vaccination, who can, so around all these things, we started creating awareness in people.
Yeah, and there was a lot of misinformation that was being spread during all this time. I think you also kind of helped people with that. Tell us something about that as well.
So information is something that is very, very important. It plays a key role irrespective of whether it is pandemic or any other operation. So yes, you're absolutely right. There was a lot of misconception that people had. Not everybody was as literate and clear about things which were being followed. And that is where I felt that need of having doctors on board. Even if I am absolutely correct in my thought process, if I tell something to people that may not look authentic, but the same thing if it is coming from a doctor, he is someone who's accredited to give that information. So that built a lot of trust in people. And that is where the idea of getting doctors and experts came from.
That's really great, sir. So I would also, like to ask you that was there something particular that motivated you to just go ahead and help people?
Yes, no, both. We live in a society and we realize that there is a lot of panic that people have in them. So those who were in home isolation, people had very little threshold to absorb their illness at home. And the reason for that probably was because things outside were completely breaking. There wasn't much help available outside, hence people were scared. So my daughter became positive. I think that was the day when I decided that we have to do something. We are the people who can do something for each other and not rely on someone else. So I think that was the trigger point when my daughter was positive.
So that was a great thought. Also, I would like to ask you that were there any emotional moments that you came across when you were in direct contact with the families of the patients?
There were quite a few such instances. I mean, somebody who's in dire need, whenever we got a request from someone to arrange for plasma, and if we were able to arrange that within 3-4 hours, you can imagine how it would feel to a family whose last hope is still alive because you've been able to do something. So that's very, very rewarding, but that's not why we were doing this. I think we were doing this because we wanted less panic around. We wanted people who can't afford certain things. A lot of black marketeers emerged in the market, started taking advantage of a lot of leads which were available online. So our idea was to make sure that the needy is helped. And these emotional moments, of course, were there, and that helped the team feel good. They were motivated all the time, and we continued to do what we were doing.
Okay. Also, what do you expect from the authorities? How do you think if like how they could have supported your initiative, or what could have they done better?
I think authorities, as far as medical system is concerned, I had written also, they are fighting a battle which was not possible to fight at all, because suddenly the kind of surge we saw, the kind of numbers that we saw, our system was not capable to handle those many numbers. So absolutely nothing against the medical system, so to say, I would request authorities to audit big hospitals with a team of doctors. So as of now, the authorities are doing a lot of things, but if there was a team of doctors also with the authorities who can audit the hospitals in terms of who's critical, who's not critical, and who should be occupying the beds and who should be released after 3 days, 4 days, 5 days or something. So a lot of murmur was there in the market that certain people, certain influential people are, holding beds in the hospital. So if we can create an audit of that kind, that will help get those beds timely freed. So I think that
that's a really important point. Thanks for making that point. Since the future waves, which are experts are saying that they are inevitable now, so how do you think should India prepare for those waves?
Number one, which is absolutely, that's the Amitabh Bachchan of film industry, and that's the cure of COVID for that. That is vaccination. Obviously, everybody, as in when you get your slot and when you are eligible, please go and get yourself vaccinated. That is number one. Number two, we have a lot of experiences from our neighborhood, from our family, from our own houses. People panicked, people started hoarding resources in their houses. We need to learn from what has happened in the past, what is going on right now, and basis that we need to take a more calm approach. Do not panic, do not accumulate resources in your house. And I think if we are able to keep ourselves calm, we will surely be able to deal with it.
Right. So thank you so much, Captain Dharmveer, for speaking to us and for all the good work that you've been doing for the society. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. Thank you.
The alarming effects of the second wave were unexpected. Even though India made massive strides, we still were unprepared to handle the massive attack of the merciless virus. So, Hiral Chandramaru and Jasreen Debo decided to play a role in supporting COVID-19 patients in Rajkot city by providing free, homemade and healthy food to COVID patients who have been quarantined and sealed off from the society. They have till now served 1900 meals and have 140 patients registered. They plan on continuing the service as long as the patients reach out to them. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superheroes Jasreen Debo and Hiral Chandramaru.
Hello and welcome. You are watching NewsX. So today on the second wave superheroes, we have with us Jasreen Debo and Hira Chandramaru, who have been helping COVID patients by providing them free food in Gujarat. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
It's our pleasure. So my first question to you is, what really led to the idea or what really motivated you to help Gujarat people with free food?
So basically, when the first wave struck, my father had asked me to do something for the people who are in need. And at that time, I did not have any idea what exactly I should do. So, and amidst all that, unfortunately, I lost my father. And that's when I realized that what he exactly wanted me to do. He just wanted me to stand with people who are suffering. So when the second wave struck, we realized that the whole family in the second wave, whole family is getting affected and is going into quarantine, self-isolation. And they are already fighting with many battles, be it physical, mental, or financial. So, and during this time, if each member of the family is quarantined, preparing food becomes a very difficult task. So that's when we thought of free tiffin service to help them fight one battle and also make some kind of relief considering the financial this thing. And I would like to tell you that this is possible just because of my mother, because she was the first one whom I shared this idea, and she told me that go ahead with it. I am ready to prepare meals for as many patients as possible.
That's indeed great. So, okay, so next question to you, Jasreen, like how has your journey been till now?
So, it's been a truly overwhelming experience because after the first wave, there was, a period of relief and life had almost come back to normal. And then again, we were hit really hard and the cases were getting worse. And, we're reading about it every day in the news and we're really feeling helpless as to, what we can really do about it. So when Hiral called me with this idea, I was completely on board. And though he has been handling all the operations and the food part of it, and I've been fundraising. So we got in touch with, we both are, students of IIM Bangalore. So we got in touch with our batchmates and we got in touch with our professors and our families. And we're both also from Bombay. So we got a lot of support. And at first, the first day, we had only one patient who registered with us. But by the end of it, we have served 1,900 meals and we have 140 patients registered with us. However, now the cases are going down, which is a good thing. The lesser tiffins, the better really for the world. But we are going to now diversify since our patients are now well and they don't have the cooking problem. They have lost their jobs and they have lost family members and are in difficult economic situations. So we will be diversifying our project now, not stopping it, and we'll be providing them with ration kits that will last their families for at least a month. We're starting that from this week itself. And we were in Rajkot, but we are also now going to cater to families in Porbandar with our new project. And a lot of them have been hit. And one important thing that we are covering this month, since it's Pride Month, we are going to be giving ration kits to 100 transgender families as well.
That's awesome. All the best for your new venture and hope that you're able to help as many people as possible.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.